this is Dr. Gina, and we're here to talk about beauty. This is the time of year where things start kind of fading away. Like I accidentally, once again, forgot to take my plants inside because I was in denial that it was going to freeze. Because freezing does what? It makes your beautiful plants die. So I have a bunch of my beautiful plants that are no longer going to be alive for my pond. So that means I'm going to have to buy some more next year. I don't know if any of you forgot your plants or not. Plants can be beautiful. There's some things that are universally beautiful, like roses. They're sort of a universal theme. What makes things beautiful, though? Well, let's see. A rose is beautiful if it smells nice. Everybody thinks of a rose as smelling nice. Have you ever smelt a flower that really had a terrible odor and all of a sudden it went from beautiful to not so beautiful? Have you ever been around a beautiful man or a beautiful woman? Well, men can be beautiful, I think. And then they open their mouth and they've got terrible halitosis. And then all of a sudden your view of their beauty just shifts. So perhaps beauty has to do with some of our sensory mechanisms, like how a person looks. But what about how they smell? Maybe other things like how they feel, their energy field. We've talked about that a lot. Like if someone has, the most handsome person can walk in the room, and if they've got angry energy, all of a sudden you don't really see them as handsome. You see them as maybe dangerous. What is beauty then? Is it in the eye of the beholder, as we say? Well, probably is, but there is some recent scientific knowledge, which I just learned a few days ago, and it's actually pretty funny, that they took a group of people and they had all of these photographs and they looked at different ones, and there were photos that were identified by humans as being the most beautiful, and then they had chickens that looked at these photographs, and the chickens picked the same photos that people picked. And you know what came to my mind? A story that happened probably 15 years ago. My hair used to be bright red. And one of my friends in another state had chickens, and she had this rooster that would dance. It was a red rooster. I don't know what the name of the rooster was, but she was like, "Dance, rooster," whatever his name was, and it was dancing around. And all of a sudden it looked at me and it just zoomed and landed on my head and would not leave me. And now I know it's just because he thought I was beautiful. So if you want to know if someone you like is really beautiful or handsome, get a bunch of chickens and put their picture out there, and the chicken will determine, and you'll have a universal concept whether this person is beautiful or not. So I thought that was pretty funny. So what all is beautiful? Have you ever looked back in your life? I remember some 70s furniture I have, and when I got it, I thought it was the most beautiful furniture. It was back where there was the orange and the browns, and they did the plaids, that nasty fabric, and I thought it was so amazing. And then I looked back at the pictures recently. I'm like, ooh, that is so ugly. So I guess our view of beauty is subjective and always about change, because there's no way I would purchase that furniture anymore. Or have you ever gone to a museum and someone's like, "That is the most beautiful picture," and you look at it and you're like, "What is that a picture of?" And they're just goo-goo-eyed over it, and the picture's like $50,000, and you're like, "I wouldn't pay 2 cents for that picture." So perhaps popularity affects our view. You know, if someone says, "Oh, this artist is amazing," or "This is the rad in furniture," or "This is the best clothing," our impressions of connecting it with meaning based on popularity. So I guess there's all kinds of things related to beauty. So when we come to talking about ourselves, think about that. Do you subjectively view yourself as beautiful? Because, you know, in the scripture, it says that we're wonderfully and beautifully made. If it's subjective and it has to do with energy, and people are going to think different things anyway, why don't you consistently think of yourself as beautiful? I mean, every day I have different mantras and affirmations that I say, and one of them is, I am wonderfully and beautifully created. And so that's the energy I put out. Hopefully you're picking up on some of that energy right now. And I want you to think about that, put that in your heart, and be a beautiful person today. This is Dr. Gina.